Okay, I think we're on. Hello out there. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It's really nice to see you as a cumulative number underneath this bit of video I have for you today. It's really nice to see you in the chat. Welcome to this Sunday afternoon reading. I am coming to you from the hallway of my house in Peterborough, Ontario. It's kind of weird to have a couple of butterflies while sitting in your own hallway. Uh, Peterborough, Ontario, otherwise known as Ngojawinong, the place at the end of the rapids. Those rapids being in the Otonabee River, the river that beats like a heart. I am really happy to be here today, coming from this beautiful watery place. It's a gorgeous sunny day, very mild out there. The birds are very busy, and I am going to try not to get distracted by them out the window. I am saying hello as well to Treaty 6 territory where I come from. I see Myrna Kostash is tuning in. So glad that you're tuning in, Myrna, from Edmonton. My family's tuning in. This is the unintended benefit of having your events happen virtually, is that people can tune in from anywhere. My family can tune in to the literary events I'm doing. So hi, family and friends from all over the place. Please feel free to say hello in the chat. Feel free to say where you're coming from, what the weather's like there today. As a descendant of homesteaders, this is crucial information for me. So yeah, thank you. We are gathering here today. I had this idea of having this little reading today to celebrate my book, Settler Education, going into a second printing. It was published nearly 5 years ago now, and it has had, I'm surprised to learn that it has had a modestly successful little life for itself. It continues to be read, and that is a really pleasant thing to know about this book, that it's out there still doing its thing. So I wanted to have this reading this afternoon to thank all of you for buying the book, for reading it, for sharing it with others, for asking for it at your library, for teaching it in your classes. It's astonishing to me that it's still being read 5 years after it sprang to life. So this is a thank you this afternoon. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm going to read about 7 poems from the book. And then if you have questions for me, you can feel free to type those into the chat and I'll file through and try to answer those. But otherwise, I'll just read. We can all give each other virtual hugs in the chat. I've got it open here. I can't read and so well the chat while I'm going here, but I sure appreciate the messages that you're sending. I've also, as you can see, other hand, I've also given you some interesting things to look at besides my own mug. Got some views out the train window, some panoramas of key locations to the book, those coming courtesy of my better half, Mark Joll. So yeah, I'm going to start with the first poem in the book. Settler Education. This one's called Number 1 Canadian, which is the name they give the train that leaves Toronto and heads west as far as Vancouver. When it returns, it's called Number 2. This is Number 1 Canadian. Stutter stepping. The last fumes out of Ontario. Beds and sliding doors and dining cars tunneling through the forest, its genealogy of clear cut, its firework trees new and hot. We show them our ghost stations. We show them tea at the window as birch dye tangled in power lines, birch hauling lines down to the level of marsh and marsh rising to meet electricity. This is the line. A propane tank every 50 clicks. wall-eyed chutes and utility corridors, gift-buying hours in the recreation car, and hints of lake and wood smoke if you're looking for them. No "Oh my nation," no "God save our queen," no colonial imperative except in our being here, in what it means to shower on a moving train, track rolling under the drain hole, the luxurious pillows, my last-minute discount. This is what they starved a people for. Through tree scenes, tableau in the dome car, the soldiers, the settlers, the track laid, the way made, making goods of them. Servants, subjects, comrades, always more, and the trees smolder, the trace smoke in the camera's vision that comes of passing too fleetly. We pause at vistas and wildlife, coniferous worming at the periphery. A train car neat with men and their rifles. Outside, threads of camp smoke obscured by clouds, by trees. And ships full, full with people, flat and heavy, an ocean of skin. Skin seeping, weeping wounds and stomach virus. All the meat rancid in barrels. All the bacon rancid in the fort, and the Cree starving through winter, camped within sight of the stockpiles. And how hard it is for me to write what came before. And the tree planters paying down their student loans, their blisters and economy of impatience. The travelers restless rounding the big lakes. They buy the wild blueberries. They take photos of each other beside dead buildings along the line. They fixate in the dome car as the last light leaves the sky. They wonder why we're stopped here, why we're waiting. Again, every goddamn freight train waiting, middle of nowhere. The Yellowhead. Bison crowded around their young against the western gate of Elk Island. Charolais of various ages lying, facing west, sniffing ozone. Ponies nosing the field and the rain, being chased by the skies. Our Lady of the Highway, east edge of Vegreville. Not cemetery, but shrine, to pray us through hill and curve. It's fresh. It's open on the highway. A blood of molasses, tar, and car track. A red sunk deeper than the road, browning with ghosts. Its pelt spreading east, ghost direction, speed pull, chassis, ghost of coyote stare, knowing the highway different now, and the wolf, and the vole, and the seam it's creating. The rise to the north with no name, eroding. A straight shot. The mauve dirt, the deer fence, faster than a horse. The borrowed GPS keeps telling me to turn around, go back. Wishing silence within the noise of engine, the wind, the radio, a last gasp of highways, a constant lullaby. I wish for silence always. The system has a British accent. When safe to do so, make a U-turn. A deep, familiar rolling, approaching Vermilion. Canola speak, suburbanite. Draw a line from Derwent to Siemens. Now name what's in between. Frog Lake. Ditchweed, fuchsia. The first thing grows after fire. Chased here by weather, rain, then clearing sky, wandering spirit, iron body, miserable man, round the sky, little bear, bad arrow, a grave once unmarked, months from here. Brome grass in all the places where the earth's been turned. They've stopped mowing. The cairn grows a fence around itself. Someone once tilled this grave, prepped the ground for commerce. Dill, Delaney, Gowanlock, Willis-Croft, Gilchrist, Fafard, Marchand, Gouin, and Thomas Quinn. A cross for him too, though his body disappeared. Violence followed him. Goldenrod lapping at the tin crosses. In the overgrowth, the unnamed, unmarked, who knows how many. Little connection but to the hills, the contours, the locales, the light. Same refrains, opening each interpretive sign, skidding over land I don't belong on without permission. Every step a camera, a mouth. Communion of Saskatoon's thick beyond the barbed wire. Scared. An old man, scared maybe he's watching, maybe I'm already stepping out of line. There's a circle of blue sky over us, and later I'll eat cherries at Frenchman Butte and peer into the rifle pits. He points to the Saskatoon bushes behind barbed wire fencing. Federal land, patchworks of ownership. Lots this year, he says. Who was it that came into my dream last night? Raw leather around the head and the arms, telling me something I can't remember now, telling a lost person a story. And then a dead crow between subdivision fences, on the white line of the through road home, its mate trying to go to the body and getting turned back to the grass by each car passing. And I'm supposed to claim I know this land, that I know where my limits are placed. RCMP Barracks, Regina, Saskatchewan. They haven't marked the spot where he was hanged. It might be in the parking lot where they keep the fleet vehicles. Nobody knows. Maybe near the chapel, but you can't go there. You could try to leave the grounds, come at it from the other side, but the guy taking admission in the museum is doubtful. In your path, a series of security guards reciting their lines. You need a chaperone. It's a secure area. You'll have to come back for a tour. A guard at a desk inside a condo called Fort Dufferin says, you know what they say, eh? They say go out there and pick a tree, and that's where it happened. They got the rope here. I know the woman who's restoring it. Hanged implies blame, and you're afraid to say it, but you say hanged over and over to people with weapons on their belts. And you hustle through the museum, snapping pictures, scribbling down each theft, the moccasins behind glass, the beadwork, the Red River cart, the wide shot of the doorway to a little room with canvas door flaps, security camera above. Retiree in a blazer encouraging you to take pictures while you're in the middle of taking a picture, trying to be friendly the way a cop tries to be friendly. He reads you, and he's rusty, and this might anger him. He tells you to go into the little room and press the English button. There's going to be a thunderstorm. Handcuffs through the decades, Dickens' sword and Strange's medals, dozens of buckles and buttons, the buffalo in the center of each badge, dramatization of buffalo staring, their Peabody single-shot rifles, their handguns, their drawings of the cannons they dragged across the prairie, the spoils of war, the boots and guns, everything side by each. To qualify for the force, recruits had to be able to ride a horse and to read and write in either English or French. They had to enlist for 3 years and were paid 75 cents per day. The Northwest Campaign, 3 accounts. No Big Bear or Poundmaker, treasonous for expressing peace and doubt and hence omitted. Beardy given voice. Here's my treaty medal. If you believe me, return it. Métis through the headphones saying, we'll fight if necessary. The Northwest Mounted Police are silent because the tape won't play. And you're getting it now, just like they got it and put it on display. Riel's Bible, his knife, his holster, his crucifix. The noose is in the back. You met a guy who knows the woman who's restoring it. This next poem is just 4 blanks with commas in between. She's over there, close. The school, its graveyard, the one plot of land you know nothing about. Your neighbor you know nothing about. Your double, same pigtails, same chance of a leather belt teacher. Beside you, just down the highway, your desks facing the same direction, your hands joined, tied, though they don't feel tied to you. You know how many blocks make up your world, and it's a fine number for a child. Your sibling, an invisible line, an invisible scale, the nuns are failing, you the inverse, the right, though you catch hell at school just for looking out the window, just for a stripe of mud on a shoe. You're twinned by road and mosquitoes and this twilight horizon, and no one is saying a word about it. Does she have her own window? Does she look out? Can she see the orange turn to crimson as the sun sets? What language does she see this in? Whose room does she see this in? The route between siblings is a long, killing walk. The houses that parcel you, your bike, your mythologized sidewalks, you have no stories about anything else except the ones you've made up. You know the names of a few trees and a few plants, the poisonous ones. Your siphoned, dumb desire spinning around and around the same block. This desire gives you your world. What does it give her? She's over there hungry. The mantras in the books in your library. She's over there being broken. All that's around you, is for you. She's over there learning what you're siphoning. You can do anything you set your mind to. She's over there being dismantled. You're keen in all the ways that won't help her. The earth has stopped talking to her. You make nonsense songs to the beat of your tires over sidewalk cracks. She's over there longing for her mother. You watch orange and crimson transform to navy blue. She's over there scrubbing her skin, the water is cold. Your mother is calling you inside to bed, just out of earshot. There are 4 things you will not learn in school. The name of the people, the name of the treaty, the name of the nearest reserve, the name of the closest school. This is where you are from. The school well off the highway and protected. The reserve not yours. The treaty taught as history, if at all. The people, Nehia and Métis, who live close and speak your language, you won't even register as different from you. For a while, you won't respond to your mother's calling. Your legs keep pedaling around and around. Louis Riel Trail. Trucks, their engine retarders as hell-bent as planes coming in. Queuing up and down the flanks of the Capel. Don't refer to the hills as a body, don't be cliché. The valley of industry, the empty canvas plain, the tow rope between cities. Across the way, someone's herding cattle in an ATV. the bright blonde stubble a color not natural to this place mid-May. Underneath, the knowing grasses waiting, finger feeling. The main branch of the militia hiked from Capel to Batoche in how many days? You better like white noise, you live so close to the highway. The drone of progress wearing away a register of hearing, a tidal thinning, the static of one's quiet, wanting weekends all these bikers up the hill, and trucks carrying bulldozers and John Deeres, tanker trucks and pickups pulling earth movers on a Sunday, and all around the orbit of predators and scavengers, mice and flies and ants in anything but a straight shot. The jostling wind, watch your cliches again, the deer and porcupine, trucks with rebar, trucks with plywood, trucks with empty beds descending the hot limbs of the valley. Does that sound original? How would he feel to have a highway named after him? A highway sprouting north from the city where he's hanged. White trucks by the thousands, double trailers full of imports in a new age of austerity, which you'll feel if you're not playing all the ball that you're supposed to, if all that's left is rocks as ammunition for your rifles, be it soldiers in zarebas or snipers in the ditches blasting holes in all your churches. If you want to get from here to the site of last resistance, you must descend the ready slopes of the Capel. And a 19-year-old woman walks the highway at night, around the weigh scales between Lumsden and Regina. 4 lanes all around her, traffic pitched too loud for reason. And the news and the cops can't fathom why she took this trail. About the time I dropped to sleep last night was when she found the answer. 15 hours before, there was an owl on the roof. It must have been dancing for the highway. And finally, thank you again for attending. I see that there's maybe one question in there. I'll take any others if you have them. Thank you for listening. This is the last poem in the book. It's called The Train Back. Kiewit's self-sufficient city lit like a movie set, a low moon to the east. All the little workers, safety vests and matching helmets, armor against. The train window passes and passes, it might never end. They're on stage welding, working their projects in the dollhouse fabrication yard, huge and multi-storied. They consult, they point, they climb, they do their parts. Pipes unimaginable, turbines, parceled out, acred out. The tears will stop with sleep. The distance grows, the moon ascends. I am leaving, I am returning. 6:42 a.m. Reeford, 7:13 Landis, 8:27 Kinty, 10:13 Bradwell, old barns and shacks kept as monuments of pride in the graying. 10:42 Young, 11:27 Watrous, 12:04 Siemens, 12:15 Raymore, 1:08 Ituna, 2:27 Waldron, but every town's been renamed Cargill or Viterra. Elevators built to the scale of the potash mines. Every hectare has some canola flour in it. 5,000 men sent west on the unfinished CPR and Middleton dividing them into 3. 1. The main force, led by himself, detained at Capel, went northwest to Batoche and Riel du Mont. 2. The column led by Colonel Otter, detrained at Swift Current, went north to Battleford and Poundmaker. 3. The column led by General Strange, detrained at Calgary, went north to Edmonton, then east to Frog Lake and Big Bear. Faster than a horse, I fly in the opposite direction. Faster than a horse, I leave the heart. Sam Steele of Simcoe County in a downtown Edmonton museum. Audio track of a husband and wife talking about his horse, his hat, his maps. The undergrads at the desk say it's because so many of their letters survive. The telegraph lines were cut. It was a very successful strategy. It took a very successful cop. The poets' names: Edgar Dewdney, William McKay, Leif Crozier, Dumont. Start with the names: Winnetoba, Malachai, Sioux Lookout, Long Lac, Hornpain, Capriole. The Canadian busy going south now, the sun out the window a surprise. From Toronto you just go west, simple. We go south, and this morning there are ferns and shield rock and internet and a big lake and birch and pines of which we still don't know the species or the age, those wall-eyed shoots I might never learn the name of. They look young, but what do I know? The Qu'Appelle Valley air was thick and heavy green and swarming with mosquitoes and deer and dragonflies. Now in Ontario, just butterflies and loon call, echoes of animals manifest, reachable. Gradually the trees grow taller than the houses, and there's a pump or a tank or a valve in every field. The river and its grades of silt, the fineness of the ancient. It slips loose past our vision. Where I lived, what would have surrounded me? Boreal, aspen, parkland. Where are we now? Are you getting a signal? How far from a town? Where on a map? Every year the Swedish aspens of Alberta lose more leaves, stripped to ribbons, the insanity of twisting roads at the city's fringes, the drone of bulldozers, of traffic. Playing golf to reconnect. Growing a garden. What is this life good for? We are high, high above the clouds. Lawns to imitate the rolling prairie, the prairie being destroyed over and over. Trains hauling cars and gas, animals and feed. Dreams of origins that we like to put on monuments and forget about. Criminalizing kids and opening up the West. All of it receding, soft purple out the windows of an airplane or the tourist train car dome. A basement apartment. Nights outside the gas station. Crop in the first light of forgetting. The pull of blood orbital. The hull of desire. The trill of canola, of the thorax. Crow scavenge remembering. How you lose your lodestar. The inauthentic wrong. The approximate missing, the mass grave, to Stony Mountain, to some extent Frog Lake, to Rocky Boy First Nation, to measles, scarlet fever, TB, to a 3-decade boil water advisory. Inauthentic is me reading it out of books. But it's where I start. It's where I sit, looking, walking around, alone, saying to you here, in writing, that it existed. It existed. And it exists. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening. Oh, it was nice to read from that book again. I see Myrna has a question. Are there poems you would want to write and add now to this collection, given that it's all happened in the last 5 years, especially the TRC? As you'll see, the sun's moving into view here. The day is proceeding as we do this reading. Yes, there are ways in which this poem has become, I'm going to show you the light switch just to keep out of the glare of the sun here. There are ways in which this collection has grown somewhat dated. Certain facts in it are changing. I think of the RCMP barracks poem particularly, where repatriation of Riel's possessions is either in progress or has been completed. I haven't been able to find information about that, and haven't been able to go to the Métis Museum in Winnipeg to see if those things were there yet. So in certain ways, this is I'm working with old info. The other thing about this book is that I wrote it and finished editing it when Stephen Harper was in power, and it came out with Justin Trudeau at the helm, and the TRC report had just come out. So in the interim between me finishing writing and it existing in the world, our view of things seemed to have a bit of a fundamental change. We jogged out of our spot ever so slightly. And so from the get-go, this has felt like I was speaking from a past place. And now I think I would probably want to add things now or change things. My urge is to edit as I read, but I haven't gone and done that. I haven't sort of changed anything, and maybe I will up the road. Who knows? It's the type of book that in one way existed in its time, and in another way could stand to just keep being written. So, well, did you find any typos? This is Brent Raycroft. Did you find any typos to fix for the second edition? The first edition looks perfect already. I found no typos, thankfully. Wouldn't that be something if I let 2 versions of the thing go out the door and I'm spelling words wrong? So no, there are lines, however, that I would tweak. I would be fine with continuing to edit. So that's something I just have to leave, as I was saying before, I kind of just have to leave well enough alone and let the thing exist in its imperfect form. Kate McDonald asks, do you continue to work with this theme and subject? In a lot of ways, yes. I'm working on edits to my next book, as I mentioned at the top of the reading, and its subject is one sort of more interested in talking about environmental destruction and ecological collapse, but it does thread through the lens of, I'm trying to look at white supremacy in a way, trying to think through the structures that have allowed this kind of destruction of societies, of all kinds of forms of life. So the theme continues. In a broad way, I think I'm writing poetry to try to articulate the pain of the world, or the ways in which the non-Indigenous person needs to pay a deeper sort of attention, or needs to know its fullest historical context. So yeah, I'd say, Kate, that my subject does continue, though not directly thematically. I'm sort of branching into other areas. Well, okay. That looks like about it for questions. I've got a bit of a lag here, so someone might have typed something in the past couple minutes here. But other than that, I'm going to say thank you so much for tuning in. I hope the rest of your afternoon goes well. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen and ask questions. And please, if you haven't bought the book yet, you can go to any old bookstore and ask for it. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.